Hello and welcome to OMG Crochet and Crafts. Today we are going to learn how to do Alpine Stitch. I'm going to show you how to do this. It is a beautifully textured stitch. Let me bring it close to the camera, see if you can get a better view of it. Yeah, look at that. It is absolutely stunning. So it's a bit smoother on one side than it is on the other. But it creates this, the stitch pattern itself creates this almost twisted stitch appearance, and it's absolutely lovely. So the Alpine Stitch itself is a 4-row pattern repeat with a setup row of double crochets at the bottom. And I think the first and the third row, so in between each of the pattern rows is a row of single crochets, and then you have 2 rows that alternate between front post double crochets and regular double crochets, and you will alternate the placing of those depending on which row you're on. So that is what the stitch looks like. Before we get started, please hit the subscribe button. It helps me to create more videos like this, and I do love creating these tutorials for you. And with that being said, let's get stuck in. So for today's tutorial, we're going to be using this Lion Brand yarn Wool Ease. It is a size 4 medium weight yarn, or an Aran weight yarn for those in the UK. And a size 5mm crochet hook. This is one of my favorite hooks, which was made for me by one of my favorite people in the whole entire world. She does have an Etsy shop where she sells lovely things like this, and her name is Bee Loves Me Too, so please go and check out her stuff. So for the Alpine Stitch tutorial, we are going to start with, let me start that again. We're going to start with a slip knot. So slip knot, pop that on the hook, and we're going to chain an odd number of stitches. You can really use any number of stitches for Alpine Stitch, but I like an odd number of stitches just because it makes it even on both sides. So that's 4. I'm going to work 25 or 27, 25 stitches. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, so once you have your 25 chains, you're going to start by putting double crochets. Now remember, this is US terminology, so for UK terminology, the double crochets will be treble crochets and the single crochets will be double crochets. I just prefer using US terminology. It makes a lot more sense to me. So we're going to double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So wrap your yarn around your hook into the chain, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, and you grab your yarn, pull through 2 loops, grab your yarn, pull through 2 loops, and we are going to double crochet into every stitch. You can zoom out a little bit. There we go. Right, I'm going to finish getting these doubles done, and I'll see you at the end of this row. So we have our row of double crochets finished. So at the end of the row, we are going to chain 1 and turn. And we are going to single crochet into every stitch. So our chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, and we're going to single crochet into every stitch. There we go, all the way to the end. And now we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and this is where our textured stitch starts from. So we've chained 3, and what we're going to do now is we're going to be working a front post double crochet, which means we're working a front crochet around this post here of the double crochet row before. So we're going to wrap our hook, pop it behind that stitch, grab our yarn and pull it through. And when we pull the yarn through, we want to make sure it stands as tall as the chain 3 does on that row. Otherwise, it's going to cause the drape of the fabric to curl. And then you work your double crochet as normal. Okay, and your next double crochet goes into the single crochet of the row below. Okay, so 1 front bar double crochet and 1 double crochet into the single crochet above it, of the above row. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well. So you're not going into the single crochet there, you're going to the double crochet below that one, and then the next single crochet. So again, we're going to a front bar, so we wrap our hook, go into the bar, behind the front bar, grab our yarn, pull it up as tall as the stitches next to it, double crochet, and then the next one will be a double crochet into the single crochet row. So to continue the row, doing front bar double crochets, pulling the yarn up so it's tall enough to match the stitches of the 3rd row, like so. So we keep working this stitch all the way across the row. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not missing the single crochet stitches that I'm supposed to be picking up. I've had it happen to me before where I have skipped a stitch and then it all turns out crooked. So just trying to make sure I'm getting all of the correct stitches, which you can do, by the way, by pulling your front post crochet down, seeing where, knowing you have to skip that stitch, and double crocheting into the next one. So this is a front bar post crochet here as your last one, and then into the very top chain of your previous row. There. Okay, so after this we're going to chain one, turn our work, and we're going to single crochet back across. Single crochet into every stitch back across. So I'm going to get that done. I will meet you at the other end of this row. So we're back after our row of single crochets. Let me zoom in so you can see. Can you see the pattern a bit better? There we go. So zoom back out now so I can move my hands. So we're back after our row of single crochets, and we're going to start again in the same way. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then this time we are going to single crochet into this first stitch here. Double crochet into the single crochet. So essentially this row we're going to be doing the opposite, and we're going to be putting the front post crochets into the double crochets of the previous round that were worked into the single crochets. Okay, so double crochets into the single crochets of the longer crochets of the row before, and then front post crochets into the opposites. And then our last 2 stitches, 3 stitches, I'm going to do a front post double crochet up here, and then double crochet into the next stitch, oops, another one into that stitch there. Okay, so that is what your pattern will look like. Now I'm going to work on this a little bit longer, make it a bit bigger so I can show you in more detail what this is going to look like. So there we have our finished piece of Alpine Stitch. You can see how beautifully textured it is. And yeah, give this a go. I think it would make a beautiful stitch for a coat. I'm actually thinking of designing a long coat with fur cuffs and a fur hood, and I think this would make a beautiful stitch for it. So watch this space. If you see something long and purple happening on my channel, you'll know what it is. Give it a go and let me know how you get on. Good luck, guys. Happy crocheting.